the planetary transition, inevitable event that is already happening, but the most visible and identifiable change is yet to come soon, is an individual cosmic fact of interest in our lives, because usually we are not feeling comfortable in this world, in this culture, this way of living, in this body that we are wearing, in this moment where the opportunity we gave ourselves can be enlarged to such an extent that when we entered the photon belt, the new vibration pattern, we have passed this darkest period while many traumatic sequelae in our being. The question is not to be or not to be disembodied. Everyone will disincarnating ever. The question is to have a better world to reincarnate later, or to stay embodied. This better world is inevitable. Now we do not expect the cataclysmic aspect, we expect the appearance of vibratory change. However, by this vibrational change we can go through some difficulties, not in the sense of threat to the planet, but difficulties in the sense of living in a crumbling culture. Is this difficulty that we'll be able to suffer now, but the more awareness we have, the less will be affected by environmental difficulties of a culture disorganization, a chaotic beginning in culture, or in full chaos. But it's much more than Abr and L was there are frente.se. We keep this vibration band growing in us. Even cultural difficulties can be mitigated, individually, by our behavior, by our feeling, for our understanding of reality pattern. So what can we do now to improve further? According to our inner possibilities, according to our consciousness mature, seek to improve the most, to stimulate the positive side of people, the beautiful side, the loving hand, unattached hand, the sympathetic side, tolerant, patient, develop our connection with God, no matter what religion we follow, or no established institution or order, but we connect consciously, that anchor, that body, our divine consciousness, our light bodies. We can be guided internally, which our thoughts, our feelings can be guided by our luminous bodies, for our higher consciousness. But not as a poor thing, as a theoretical thing, but as something that we practice here with our mother, our father, our brothers, with our children, with our neighbor, with doorman, with the liquidator, with the driver of the vehicle that is sharing the road with us, with the person's trade, with our professionals. The relations effort now has to be in that this increased connection, but not theoretically, not dogmatically, something that flows spontaneously, but we can, with a directed will, extend this positive state of mind. This will generate such a good vibe, which will balance this scale of change, causing that negative charge of many who are unable to raise their vibrational frequencies, which she did not tip much. The balance of cultures, popula estones, regional conflicts will emphasize. This is inevitable. Who does not harmonize with the cosmic forces will not be able to stay alive for a long time in this body. The time has come, either harmonizes or the will of the laws of life crush the individual or the population in question. More and more people will wake up to see that it is not what they have, is not what they know, that really is the credential for your happiness. Happiness does not depend on what you have or what you know, much less whether you will have to put food in the stomach or not. Amazingly, we'll figure it out. So for us to prepare for transition, just keep our internal growth in the pace of our possibilities. The inevitable is unfolding there, soon we will be achieved by this inevitable. The change is already occurring, however this adjustment period, it will be turbulent. If we have inner stability, to external turbulence will not affect us so much. If we do not have inner stability, external turbulence will affect us. So your responsibility is to yourself, not with anyone else. The other will be a consequence of its growth. You will act more harmoniously with others because you are harmonized. So this is fundamental point to self-improve. Of course that is not self-enhance selfishly. Self-improvement and selfishness do not go together. We self-enhance as exercising love. Love is an important thing to raise our vibrational frequency. Without love does not increase the vibrational frequency. The change will be internal. All over the world, people who suddenly had a very ordinary life, they begin to question that unconscious way of living, and begin to show a pattern of greater awareness. Be symptoms of spiritual about the transition of planetary energies. It has no connection with any religion or dogma, recognizing their lies and manipulations. Accept only teachings that bring spiritual solutions, based on the true concept of freedom and not the threat, fear and destruction. Accepted the teachings of masters, philosophies and spiritual leaders no matter the source, but not idolize them. Augmented their historical and philosophical knowledge, recognizing the difference between God and Source, all false deities in which they are based religions and cultures on the planet. You know that you no longer need the cosmic sponsorship. You know that the solution of the challenges and responses is in each and not a celestial being, entity, holy, etc. Guide recognizes its essence and multidimensionality, taking advice only from his great teacher, his I Am. You know the secrets of creation are in nature and can only achieve their knowledge in perfect communion and respect for the planet and all its kingdoms. Do not accept karma. No more guilt. Know how the matrix and the wiles of the beings that dominate the planet. Recognize your strength and power to create. Take care of your thoughts and feelings. Walk toward mercy and unconditional love. Fight for truth and freedom. No more prejudice. It is recognized as part of creation, worthy of good and better. You know the responsibility to help others, but without hypocrisy and false charity, only limited to what lies within reach. Respects the life. So care for their health, food and energy care. Recognizes the spirituality as an intrinsic attribute of the soul, so know it is a spiritual being able to vent all the conditioning limits with possibility to attain wisdom and enlightenment. These are some of the attributes and characteristics of the human being in this new age spiritual, where we deepen increasingly in truth and responsibility of awareness of our co-creation. When we will also know the importance of our presence on the planet, which will lead us to the final release of the matrix or network that is designed to hold in this false reality. We will thus entering a new spiritual reality where life, love, freedom and respect will prevail in our lives.